the elections, how you will vote, meaning voter education is ongoing. Also, we are informing people when the booths will open, when the booths will close, what is expected of the electorates, what are the colors attached to the ballot papers. At the first round, we call for absolute majority of the vote, meaning you must have 50% plus one, then you win the first round, meaning there's no second round. If no candidate obtains absolute majority, 50% plus one in the first round, the second ballot shall be conducted on the second Tuesday following the announcement of the results of the first ballot.
First and foremost, there has been concerns from many of the voters that there would not be sufficient monitoring at the polling stations. And in addition to that, there has been a need for the opposition to come together, to work together in terms of protecting and safeguarding the votes of the Liberian people. I reached out to opposition parties, and what we have today now is a result of that, where we have signed this memorandum of understanding to protect and safeguard the votes of the Liberian people.
And how many parties have you managed to get along to come and be part of this task?
So 16 parties in total have expressed interest. 11 have agreed to sign, and more are reaching out. And I do want to acknowledge that although I initiated this, it's not me. It's really all of us together. There will be no MOU if there weren't the other parties. So just to say that all of and including the parties that have been part of collaborations.
Coming at serious man. If Coming was a serious man, the best decision ever taking is left. Coming to be president, maybe he won't die or training die. Coming at serious man.
You're saying that it is not possible at all. If that will ever happen, it will happen in utopia.
No.
If utopia is a world that does not exist.
It cannot happen. No, I don't want to already say never ever. But it is not in our generation.
Not even in the generation and generation and generation to come. Then it's not possible.
Come on, man. The man cannot concentrate and contemplate. What can he do? That man cannot produce nothing.
Most of the people hear that it is a rescue train. Without JNP, we had, Rescue 2 and other leaders of the rescue train. So yes, they're out there, they're receiving us, and it's becoming very, very overwhelming. And we are very optimistic. The team is going to be back tomorrow. And of course, you know that tomorrow is Friday. So we're touching base. The team is again, this operation is a octopus operation.
Please remain quiet. Stay home on Sunday. Don't go anywhere. Your fingerprint, your hard work will be demonstrated on what thing. Don't force anybody. Don't argue with anybody. Don't argue. This election is over. There are people who will create animosity, confusion. Stay away. This election is over. It's all a story. The woman knew that this child wasn't us. Someone asked and she said, no, let's share the child. The opposition want us to go back to the dark days. Liberia is because of the citizen government. We will not support anybody. We will not support anybody. And this is why I want you, ask you, on behalf of the country chairman, Alexander said it, stay away on Sunday. Don't argue with anybody. Remain peaceful. This election is first man.
I'm one of the proponents in propagating the proper agenda, the PFPD. And today you say, what are open to offer? You should have been in English.
Are you being supported?
Brother, I'm saying, don't ask me that question. I think the party is under the obligation
to do for you.
Yeah.
But they aren't doing.
You asking me and you want me to be monotonous.
Are they doing for you?
I think the party is under the obligation.
That expression means they aren't, they ought to.
I said the party is under the obligation.
They are doing it for you directly.
English,
You don't want to come straight.
Same Andrew, I don't know what you mean. I said the party is under the obligation because I'm one of the progenitor.
That's what you get when the hobo pejoratively hobnobs with the hobo. Results harassment politically. He was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a way of saying the president was fantastic. But his political enemies said he was suffering from what I describe as pneumococcal microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Yes, it's a word that is supposed to be called silicosis, meaning a long disease. But in search for the longest word in the dictionary, they pep it up to become a 45-letter word, which is pneumono under microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. What an odium! What an ignominious memento! That even at the barbaration of the so much acclamation, the same subsidy evacuation and habituation was condemned by a scrupulous, fastidious, puritanical, prosperous, energetic, and a rooting to thing for today for political somnambulism and malocclusion. Reticent, taciturn, uncommunicative, and unforthcoming. Meaning he has control in their home.
No trouble, nothing too much, you know. I love you, miss you, I want you back. Long time no see, out your love, I'm lonely, I miss you, and it's too hard to bear. What have you done to me? I'm waking up in the middle of the night without you, and it's so unfair. I toss and turn, reach for you, only my pillows. Soon away, the morning rises, I'm alone, hurts my soul.
This is TGIF in Liberia. Thank God Almighty is right. But before TGIF is TGIM, TGIF, TGIW, TGIT, TGI, and TGIF. And it's going to be after TTGI and TGIS and TGIM, which is on fresh on Monday.
No appetite for food has to taste. I'm losing weight. Thought you could be replaced. I daydream of you and me.
It's Friday, the 15th day of September, and it's election year in Liberia. It's election year, and 2023 is election year in Liberia. October 10th is the decider.
It's so easy to you. I love you. I miss you. I want you back. I love you. I'm missing you. I want you back.
Oh, yes, blessed country, strategically positioned by God alongside Israel, the people of Liberia, blessed, so cordial in their attitude, so welcoming, so forgiving. If you are a Liberian, like I am, be very proud of yourself, be proud of your creation, be proud of your position. God has blessed Liberia and has placed this country strategically. Oh, yes. If you don't know, well, that's just a bit of it. So it's another day again. Thank you so very kindly that you joined us for the show Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 and Voice of Liberia 89.7. We transmit from the capital bypass. We transmit from Kakata, Gibi County, Kak City for short. Transmitting from Bomb, transmitting from Lopa, and it's going to cover the entire country. You can also listen by way of our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaradio.com, Facebook, www.voiceofliberiaonline.com. Here we are, another day. We've got, according to the National Elections Commission, we've got 25 days, 25 days to October 10th, 25 days for the candidates to wrap up, 25 days to be convinced that they will be elected, 25 days to know that they have exhausted their manifesto, 25 days to just get everything right. And then October 10th, all of the candidates, presidential, legislative, are at the mercy of the electorate. Right now, the electorate, they are not at the mercy of the candidates. No, they are not at the mercy of the candidate. The candidate waving, booing here and there, moving, crisscrossing, tossing here and there, saying what they can say, whichever way they can say it. But once campaign closes on the eve of balloting itself, everybody now will be looking to the electorate. It's so interesting, right there. There where you see the humility, and there were all of the telephone calls, people going to charge their phones, they're going to get enough money into it because calls going to be going here and there. Right now, they're a little bit relaxed. They just moving around crisscrossing, selling their party's manifesto, independent candidate manifesto. And this time around, sometimes they can say some things to the candidate, I mean, to the electorate. But once it reaches that point, forget it. Everybody now humble. So let's do our in-house clearing as quickly as we can. And then we've got the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education will have to explain some things they have done. They're doing significantly well on that end, headed or under the superintendentship of Dr. Ansu Suning. But there are some anomalies also. As much as we acknowledge they are doing some good things, there are some anomalies there. We'll talk about the anomaly first, then the other ones will follow. So we brought in the man responsible for the communication arm of the Ministry of Education. He manages, he is the middleman between the public and the Ministry of Information or Education. He is the second spokesperson, the official spokesperson, the Minister of Education, and right below him is the man who manages the entire communication affairs of the Ministry of Education, Maxim Bleaton, Menace Moment, Tabras. You know what I mean to be J. Maxi Bleaton. J. Maxi Bleaton. He's listening and just sent me a word to say I should attach to J. Just that a guy that was on the show this week with Samira Wola. Sami asking a very good question, and the man said he can't answer the question until Sami say refer to him as honorable. Honorifics, good. Initials, good. Letter, good. So let's get started. Let's do some in-house clearing, as it is the custom of the show. We've got 25 days to go. We have had relatively calm, peaceful campaigning across the country as far as we know. Though it didn't say, and it doesn't say, there isn't minor skirmishes. You will have these things because emotion run high, temptations crisscross people's faces, and people give into some things, they say some things, but the magnitude that will cause an overall stare, no. So it has been very good over the time. We have seen political parties having their rallies, and no violence came up, nothing of such. It was peaceful, and everybody went home. We want to keep it this way. It tells us that the candidates themselves, they are talking to the people. We have the responsibility, all of us, the candidates, be they presidential, legislative, the stakeholders, the partners, the media, civil society, everybody are protectors of the peace and stability. Maintain a unique election campaign atmosphere. It is a game, a unique game. There isn't a difference between the football game and campaign. All of the facets or characteristics or the features that you see in a football match, you see it in campaign. It is a joyful thing. Campaign is so joyful. It is diversity in unity. We're different by our political manifesto, by our political ideology, but we are united by and with a common core. We are Liberians. We are not Sierra Leoneans. We are not Guineans. We are not Americans. We are not Italians. We are not German. We are not French. We are Liberians. We hold our election in our country. And what is ultimate is our country. And when you're saying country, you're saying Sam Andrews, Martin Bleaton, President George Weah, Ibrahim Dente, Alexander Cummings, Joseph Walker. That's what you're saying. Once you say Liberia, you're talking about the people. So we say government of the people, by the people, for the people. Simple. When those of you who are Christians, whenever you hear the expression, you say you're reading a verse in the Bible and say, I will make you a nation or go to this nation. It means people, people. That's what it means. So once we have our diversity, but we do it in oneness, in one accord. That one accord or that goal is Liberia. Let's keep it as quiet, as peaceful, as secure as we can, as we have just 25 days to close the campaign. We beg us all. We have done it before. We can do it now. And we have no reason not to do it. The international world or the whole world is watching. The whole world is paying attention on Liberia. The whole world doubt us. So let's prove, let's take it this way that they are doubting us, that we can have a clean campaign, we can have a free, fair, transparent election. Let's prove them wrong. By doing just that, in these last days, we've got to go, keeping the campaign clean, secure, non-violent. God, we get on the ballot box on that day and demonstrate in a more secure, relaxed, calm manner. Then at the close of the day, they will turn to Liberia and say, yes, that country democracy has grown. They are mature. They conducted their elections free, fair, transparent. Before then, the campaign went in a manner representative of a democratic nation. Let's do it that way. All right. So that will take me to the next talking point. And my guest will address this. But the Minister of Education said something which I thought to address just as we pick up the bits and pieces from every issue unfolding. When he comes in, he will talk to that. But yeah, is it. They, they release publicly the launch of the textbooks across the country, which is very significant, very, very significant. And we must commend them. In Dr. Ansu Sonin's position, he warned of arresting and prosecuting if they saw the book on the market. And he mentioned a specific place, the old education ministry where they sell books. If he sees it on the market, it will be arrested. But here is it. Let's have a listen first.
To see these books under the Ministry of Education of Broad Street. We are going to inform those at that World Trade Center to see these books under the Ministry of Education of Broad Street. We are going to inform to see these books under the Ministry of Education on Broad Street. We to see these books under the Ministry of Education on Broad Street. We are going to inform those at that World Trade Center, and we will write a letter to the Director of Police through the Ministry of Justice. If you find this book in any retailer, that person is a thief. You are selling property that you don't own. So if your brother or your nephew or your uncle or your auntie or your somebody works for the World Trade Center, please tell them that these books are not to be sold, not by anybody. Therefore, please declare that these books are available for immediate distribution, beginning with the Morovia schools system and beyond. Distribution of the books is hereby officially declared launched.
Liberia's Education Minister, Dr. Ansu Soni, at the launch of the book and a warning that if they saw any copy or copies at the World Trade Center or anywhere where there's commerce, that person will be arrested and prosecuted. Now, that is a very good thing to say, but there is always a source before the source will have to be addressed. Where does it come? Where does it come from? It doesn't just fly. No, it doesn't just fly. It moves from in out. So I think, in my opinion, the minister should have addressed that first. And this is the problem with Liberia. You see people stealing current all over the place. The last time the chairman of the board of directors of the Liberia Electricity Corporation, Morning Captain, on the air, and he had to address these things. All of these concerns were raised to him, and he acknowledged, truly, that's how it is. It from always within, people get meter. They will finish distributing. They finish with the installation. But you see somebody get meter. The person on flat rate. You think that the person paying flat rate, for those of you who don't know flat rate, they can set your meter in a way that it's working. But you're paying far rate dollar as if you make it seem like, bro. It's just that 24/7 you get current. While other people current, you are going, you get current. So now when your current trip there, maybe something somewhere, something happen with your but you all current 24 and $4 you're not paying. Free current, free current. Now somebody from within the system has connected. That's how it goes all over. So it's always coming from within. So I think the education ministry were needed to or needs to look at that. The communication man will speak to that. So let's move to this one. Front page Africa. Front page Africa is confirming the arrest of one Stephen S. Daniel. He is an employee of the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications, according to the paper, in connection to the drugs that were smuggled through the Rabos International Airport. According to Front Page Africa, Daniels has been identified as the consignee who flew the drugs into Liberia via Kenya Airways on August 31st. Consignee. The consignee is the person who takes full responsibility. Everything. Say you're signing a document and you affix your signature to it that it is for you or you approve the departure. So he's identified as Stephen Daniels. The paper went further to say that the airway bill for the consignment in possession that Front Page Africa has that manifest. And the manifest or the airway bill, as it is called in uh, aviation term, shows that Daniel as the consignee and the consignment is described as dry dry kit, dry kit or dry cat is Khat, Khat. So you can pronounce it as cat, dry cat. And this is a form of drug. So the paper will do a little background of it. It said that cat contains the alkali cartonate, and this is a stimulant that causes greater sociability, excitement, loss of appetite, and mild euphoria. The consignment, according to the paper, upon inspection by customs in the presence of joint security on Monday, was declared organic moringa tea and was turned over to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency for further testing. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency test discovered the presence of methamphetamine, yes, yes, methamphetamine or meth for short, a highly addictive drug. The paper goes further to say from its investigation that Daniel works with the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications as a dispatcher. He also runs a private company, and that private company is called Afri Express Global Incorporated. And he is, according to Front Page Africa, the chief executive officer. The paper did not stop there. It went further to say the suspended director of security at Rabus International Airport, Samuel Fremer, and the cargo officer at Jaws Travel, Sam Sion, who is not the NSA deputy director. They have the same name, but it is not the NSA deputy boss. Have found themselves in the spotlight as prime suspects in a drug related event. They are the ones who are being investigated. So, Just Travels, what it does, Just Travel serves as the general sales agent for Kenya Airways and is responsible for ticket and cargo operation in Liberia. According to the paper, Stephen Daniels got this. Is it Stephen Daniels? No, not Stephen Daniels, but Samuel Fremer, the chief of security at the airport. He got his company, and this company is called Jaws Travel. And Jaws Travel serves as the general sales agent for Kenya Airways and is responsible for ticket and cargo operations in Liberia. Just to give you bits and pieces of it. So you see, if what Front Page Africa is reporting, if what Front Page Africa reporting is true, if Front Page Africa report is the reality, and we can doubt them, it is not to say that they are not infallible or they are infallible, but they are credible. They will not report something that they have no clear idea about. They do background investigation and they authenticate and validate their information before going public. Majority of what they've reported turned out to be true. Some they reported weren't true. That's what I meant when I say they are infallible or they are not infallible. They are reports, they are the Porter. No, wasn't true at all. Some near true, some true. So they report, they investigated, and their the investigation according to them showed that this whole thing was a syndicate. And yeah, this is how most of these things come into the country, based on conflict of interest. President Salih had the same thing. She boasted in her regime that no government official will have two businesses or will have extra business running while in government. She fumbled with it, it remains, and it affected the country to some extent. President Weah came to power. He tried to reinforce that, but it was difficult. We saw the situation with his former airport manager, Bill Tuare, and other people, the spokesperson now of the party, Councillor Kanio Bagbala, and other people. So you see, this is how the country suffer. People will use their extra interest as middlemen or they take over the whole stuff and then achieve their goal. So you see, this is why I told you people yesterday, it didn't make sense for you people to start putting, or some of you people to put it on political ground, accusing the government, accusing the president that he brought Kush into the country. So you see what Front Page Africa reported. Some of you believe outrightly the first information that came out that, oh, it was by the acquiescence or the approval, or it was for the chief of protocol of Liberia, Nora Finabono. But Front Page Africa report is not saying anything of those, not linking anybody, but rather how the drug came into the country, how these people use their extra agency or the extra institution. That means they work for people. People use them as surrogate to say, oh, we want to get this in Liberia. And we understand that you have this, you have that. Didn't I tell you people about bullying yesterday on the show? I told you people about bullying. You have to be very careful when you're not smart, you're not fully educated, when you have an institution or you broke, you need money, you have an institution and you think that institution, you need it to be more viable, more vibrant, people take advantage of you with the United States dollars. When they realize that you have a company like this guy have just, they say, okay, but then we can influence. And some of these guys are at the various places. They're not as sophisticated in terms of resisting temptation or being philosophical enough to understand whether a person is bullying them or not. No, you can claim to have the education, but you can sit in the presence of certain people, or you can meet a certain person, and that person in less than 2-3 minutes can brainwash you, and you give in. That's how people allow their plan to be executed by another person. They use people as surrogate, so they know how to persuade. So they felt probably, I'm not saying that he was used as surrogate, but I'm telling you how it works. He was bullied. He allowed himself to be bullied. So because they realized that this man does airport work, he has his agency, so we can use his agency. And that was the first information that came out. And when I listened to all of the security people at the airport explaining, I soon realized that the information they gave me is not true, but everybody was just trying to exonerate himself. The first thing they said that they did not deny that this thing was not brought into the country. They did. But what did they say? That it was? It was moringa tea brought into the country by a businessman. August 31st, or from August 31st, you won't check, you won't do anything until people start raising suspicion. And then in September, it came out. So all that time, why did you guys not open that box to know whether it's Moringa tea or not? Moreover, according to the investigation, they use different route, not following the normal procedure at the airport. So you see where we are. People, you see. Now he's undergoing investigation, Stephen Daniels, and he has to explain his side because at first it was Moringa tea came into the country from Kenya, brought in by a Liberian. So they did not lie at the airport, and the investigation now will unearth a lot more. All right, that will be doing it for that. That will be doing it for that. My guest is already in the building. We have the conversation as soon because he got other things to do. Uh, he got other things to do. So we'll start the conversation and then we'll leave 30 minutes for you to have your say. But this is what is unfolding. This is what Front Page Africa is reporting that Stephen Daniels is being investigated, the man who is reported to have brought in as the consignee a drug into the country, meth. All right. So just hold it there. I will take your calls. The entire country locked down in political campaign, everybody here and there. technical institutions are doing their work. So let's turn to our guest. He has to go according to his itinerary. Doesn't want to stay too long, but rather to explain certain issues. Um, the discussion will focus on the reopening of schools, the official launch of the textbooks, for which the Minister of Education said if he saw any or if he got a report that any on the market, they will arrest and prosecute such person and other issues. So thank you so very kindly. I appreciate it. J. Maxi Bleaton, Director of Communications, Ministry of Education, Republic of Liberia. Thank you for coming in to give these bits and pieces of information as they unfold from the Ministry of Education. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to Bits and Pieces.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your invitation and I'm glad to be here. Thanks very much for the fantastic job you guys are doing here. I want to say many thanks to the management and staff of the station. The station is very neat. The studio is very clean. You guys are decent people. I must appreciate you guys. The way the studio is blended and the colors and it's so fantastic. I want to say congratulations.
Let's get started. The first thing we got to look at the reopening of schools. You want to expand on that?
Yeah.
And I want you to uh, take your time as much as you can. I know that you are running, but it is a technical issue so that our audience, your audience, can get a clear picture.
Okay. So thank you so much. We are very fortunate to have the platform this afternoon. Right after my birthday, I'm usher in here on your platform, and you're very lucky to see me because
So you celebrated well.
Omil called me.
You
I
celebrated.
rejected Omil.
Yeah, but when Voice of Liberia call you, you have to
Okay,
appear.
similar thing.
It's a matter of months.
When you call me, I know what kind of pressure you got. I was forced.
Yeah, that's the relationship,
And
man.
that's the
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
So
That's
I
one of
really
the
appreciate
essences of life.
and so I'm here to do what we are paid to do professionally, and I want to first start with the announcement from the Ministry of Education. There are people who giving out fake information, and this we need to stop in Liberia because if we continue to give information that are not truthful, our upcoming generation will follow suit. And that is very, very uncivilized. So the announcement is this. The Ministry of Education announces the reopening of all schools operating in the Republic of Liberia, both public and private schools. The ministry has officially released the academic calendar for 2023-2024, which applies to all schools in the Republic of Liberia, ranging from early childhood education to grade 12. Processes leading to the reopening of schools are as follows. 1. August 1 to the 31st registration period. The minister already and also extended the time to the end of September. So as we speak, registration is ongoing and classes are ongoing concomitantly and simultaneously. August 30 to September 1 orientation, 3 consecutive days. September 4 classes already begun. As we speak, classes are in section, schools are ongoing, and instruction is ongoing in the various schools. October 6, 2023, classes will be suspended for the 2023 elections. I want people
October
to
6th,
October 6th.
there will be
That
no school in
no,
operation.
listen. I don't say there will be no school. Listen, there will be a break. There will be a break given to all schools in the Republic of Liberia to allow people of voting age to go to where they did their registration so that they will go and cast their vote for the person they so desire. From the
People,
6th
people
of
of voting age,
yeah, from the
students,
and students and
students,
teachers and
students,
yes. So they will go to the
only
areas.
that group.
No, anybody that going to school, we give him break on October 6th, which will be on Friday, to allow you to go to your area that you
So
did your
schools
registration.
schools will not be in session.
That's why we say we'll give break. And we on Tuesday, October 10, we expect everyone to go to the pool to cast their votes for the person you so desire. That is your right. We do not want to um, abuse people's right, and will not force you to do what you don't need to do. On Monday, October 16, classes resume. On Monday, October 16, classes resume in all schools, both public and private schools in the Republic of Liberia. The ministry further instructs that all fees, beginning from registration up to graduation, be stipulated or published in your school bulletin for the year. Fees not mentioned or stipulated in your information sheet or bulletin at the beginning of the school year cannot be imposed subsequently. And this should claim the attention of all parents, school administrators, both public and private schools, education stakeholders throughout the length and breadth of the Republic of Liberia. And this is sanctioned by the senior management team of the Ministry of Education, Republic of Liberia, West Africa.
Why can't you guys shut down schools until everything is over?
You understood the announcement? Maybe I need to redo that. Listen to the
Chief,
announcement.
I'm asking you. What?
We're shutting down school on October 6th. You're not supposed to tell
You-
once to shut down school. We are level-headed people, people who are knowledgeable. We have the expertise. That's why they place us there. We got the jurisdiction and the authority, and we're very empowered. And we got the education. So you don't dictate to us. We tell you what needs to be done. We control the education system. We got the jurisdiction to do that. We supervise all schools in this country.
So your time interval for closure and reopening is appropriate.
Very appropriate. That's what we desire to do. It is sanctioned by the senior management team. So you don't need to tell what to do. We tell you what to do. We are in charge of education. So you listen to us and
There,
go by our guidelines.
there wouldn't be a problem in between there.
We have not seen any problem. We have not noticed any problem. We are giving enough time. We are taking break. We open on September 4, 2023. We said go to school from September 4. We take a break on the 6th of October. The 6th is given to you from the 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to your area where you did your registration. We don't want to embarrass you or force you or deny you of your right. Go to your area. That day will be on a Friday after school. You can take your bag, put your bag behind you, go and take a taxi or bus and travel to wherever you want to travel. Go and then be there until Tuesday. So you're coming from the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. We give you 5 consecutive days.